Tell me what is with this Junior. That's his name, Henry Jones Jr. I prefer the name Indiana. I named the dog Indiana. You silly goose, you don't like the name Junior. You're named after the dog, you crazy nut. I've got a lot of fond memories of that dog. I do love that silly dog. But then it's the last adventure for nearly 20 fucking years when Shia LaBeouf ran around and screamed and shouted and brought the movie down. And I'm John Rickman with the retro review of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, John Rhys Davies, and various others in this adventure where Harrison Ford is punching more Nazis. And then we get more comedy. And Sean Connery, who thought for years and years and years it was okay to slap a woman around. Research it, kids. Yeah, 2006 he changed his tune. Read up about what happened with his first wife. Yeah, some of the best goddamn actors certainly have a sordid past. Nevertheless, directed by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas was involved, and Jeffrey Boehm had something to do with the writing. And by something, I mean he basically wrote the goddamn thing. That's usually how writing works. The Dead Zone, The Lost Boys, Lethal Weapon 2 and 3, Witches of Eastwick, and The Phantom. Yeah, one of his last big projects was The Phantom. Billy Zane in Purple Tights. The Rey Mysterio did not simply just borrow and pluck from that to come up with his Halloween Havoc 97 gear. If you are a non-wrestling fan, you have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch at that point. You had Denholm Elliott, you had Allison Doody. I promise you all, I reacted to that last name with good taste and maturity that everybody has come to expect from me, and if you believe that, you really have not been following this channel at all. And Allison Doody, I'm sorry, I'm mature, not. She was a fresh-faced actress in her early 20s and was recently in that RRR movie. That was incredible. And she looked basically the same there, and she's in her mid-50s. Good ageless beauty there. She really did find the Holy Grail. She didn't plunge through her death in the fog. She really found the Holy Grail. So, nevertheless, yes, John Rhys Davies, you had Julian Glover and various other people. In 1938, where Indy's dad goes missing, searching for the Holy Grail because the Nazis have him, and they want the Holy Grail because tomorrow belongs to... Okay, enough. Maybe I should stop doing that reference. And Indy must go after him. Okay, fun facts about this. $48 million budget, which was double the amount of the first two movies put together. You had $18 million for the first one, $28 million for the second one, $48 million for this. $117.5 million today. I love that inflation calculator stuff. $197.1 million U.S. and Canada gross. 482.2 million today. And 474.1 million, that is, worldwide. 1.15 billion today. So, it did better than Temple of Doom. Things are back on track. And then we would get Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I'll retro review that at some point. I'm preparing for Indiana Jones 5. How's Harrison Ford still alive? How's this franchise still alive, despite being on ice for many years? I mean, seriously, you think about it. We had the first one in 81, then 84 for the second. This one came out in 1989. And then for nearly 20 years, they said, we don't want to do another one. And then they decided to throw $185 million at the whole project and hope it would work. Don't worry, I'll retro review that and tell you my thoughts after not really caring for the fourth one. This is about the third one, though. So, we have young Indiana Jones, played by River Phoenix, before, man, River Phoenix certainly was a bright actor. He was, and then he just, man, when he hit the club floor, he just never got up. That's mean for no goddamn reason. Let's move on from that. He did not rise like a phoenix. I'm done. I swear, I'm done. I did like the Wild West stuff, the Boy Scout trip. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. We're in 1912 Utah, which honestly, based on stuff I've seen, kind of looks like 2023 Utah. Not a lot of shit going on there in Utah. Are you from Utah? Is there shit going on in Utah? So, we're looking for the cross of Coronado. I left my cross in Coronado. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying here. I did kind of like how Indy did not have a fear of snakes until a little bit later. Oh, it's just snakes, and then we find out how he got that fear of snakes, which was a nice little touch, I will say. He ends up getting the cross, getting on a train, and for whatever reason, it just made me laugh that he went through this carnival ride of this carnival stuff, like all these animals and everything. He landed in a pit of snakes, and that's how he became fearful of snakes. To be fair, that would kind of fucking do it. There was a lion there, too. And then we got the whip to crack that whip. And that poor lion. That lion's like, what the fuck am I doing on this guy? Why am I not in an enclosure? Why am I not in a wild? What the fuck is going on here? I'm king of the jungle, and then I'm having to have this goof whip at me. He gets across back to his dad. His dad cuts him off. And oh no, the sheriff is in on the whole goddamn thing. So Indy must continue to find the cross. And then way goddamn later, we get the same guy basically looking for the goddamn cross. Belongs in a museum. And then from there, we have the search for the Holy Grail. Not Monty Python to search for the Holy Grail. We hear a story. 3 knights found it. 1 came back. Marcus Denholm Elliott, he is involved in this. A little more involved this time, actually. And then they're going to go take 2 tickets to Venice Dice. And they're going to get caught in, something that will pay the price. They are butchering this song like you wouldn't believe. We've got 2 tickets to Venice Dice. Fuck, Allison is beautiful is what I wrote down. God, she was just gorgeous in this. Good. I mean, she still is. I'm just saying, good grief. She knew his father. Conveniently knew the father. So, of course, she gets involved in this. They find the tomb with clues to lead to the Holy Grail and all that stuff down below this library that just happens to... There was one funny moment where Indy's trying to hammer the thing down. And each time a guy puts the stamp down in the library, hits the book like, checked in or marked or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. And it's kind of funny. The guy kind of looked like a mutated Albert Einstein. And the Nazis are already there, because of course they are. Because it's only a 2-hour movie. We must involve Nazis quickly. I still wonder if it was weird for Steven Spielberg, given what he went through and given the history that he studied and given all the stuff that's happened to. I mean, because of Spielberg's beliefs, like, was it weird to deal with Nazis? I know it's Hollywood, but still? Think it's weird? A little bit? Probably. Anyway, so there's all these rats down there, and that's kind of gross. The food of the cave gods. Well, let's just say things don't go all that well, because the Nazis decided, hey, we're just going to set fire to the goddamn river, because the river is petrol. It's giant. It's just gas and oil. Why? Why not? Honestly, why not? That would have burned any cut that they had, by the way. So, Elsa is along for the ride. That is, and they crawl out of the sewer, and he's like, Venice. And I imagine that smell would have knocked anybody over. That smell of gas. So, they get on. They get on the boat, the banana boat, and then they're pursued by a guy who's later revealed to be Kazim, and also various others that are trying to protect the secret of the Holy Grail. It's like protecting the people from finding Imhotep, except these guys are a lot more inept instead of Imhotep. And boat chase scene, which was actually pretty goddamn good. Kazim basically says, your dad's being held by the Nazis. Oh, thanks. Okay, cool. I mean, glad we freed you, but oh boy, we have to go there. And his dad basically did a lot of research, found out about this city Alexandretta, I believe is what it is, which just sounds like an alternate personality of Alexander the Great. The rooms are torn apart Oh, Elsa's in on it. Elsa, curse your sudden but obvious betrayal. Everybody with a goddamn thing could have seen that coming. Everybody with a brain cell could have seen that coming. God, she's gorgeous, though. You almost just want to forgive her for it. Except aligning with Nazis is kind of bad. Don't do that. Actually, it's really bad. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Stop. Stop that. Get some help. So, he finds his dad being held hostage. Then, a castle in the sky. Wait, not a castle in the sky. That would have actually been funny. Junior, I'm Scottish, you're American. We don't have any relation. But somehow, we're father and son. Junior. Terrible Connery impression. If he wasn't an abuser of women, I would feel bad. But, alleged. But nevertheless, it's like in Highlander. I'm a Spaniard. No, you're not. So, nevertheless, the father and son argue. And then Elsa, who's obviously in on this whole goddamn thing. It turns out that Sean Connery slept with Elsa. And then also Harrison had a bit earlier or whatever. Man, from father to son, literally. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. And the character of Donovan, who warned Indy not to trust anybody, is in on it. Okay, but he trusted you. You said don't trust anybody. So if he didn't trust you, he wouldn't have gotten on the trip and you wouldn't have... This is all because Sean Connery had his diary, or Sean Connery sent his diary to Harrison Ford, which sounded a lot less high school drama in my head, but I'm just going to roll with it. They find John Rhys Davies' Sala, who is willing to help them. This is after Marcus, by the way, is trusted to Sala, and Sala, well, that goes tits up quickly because he says, here, get in here and find this back room to this warehouse. Oh, it's a moving truck. Well, I probably should pay attention to the geography and the surroundings of my area. And then Indy and the father are tied up. Could Allison Duty tie me up next? I'm okay. I'm fine. It could have been, 1989 Allison Duty. Sorry. Or 2023 Allison Duty. I'd be fine with whatever. So, Sean Connery can't figure out how to work a lighter. Accidentally sets the floor on fire. And then they're spinning back and forth in this fireplace that has this trap door area, and there's these Nazis over there, and somehow managed to trap them in the burning room, and they managed to escape. And I did kind of like to think, our situation is not improved. Anybody that's a Sean Connery fan absolutely hates me, and is just immediately flagging this video for abuse of a dead body. So they escape the burning house. Now they're on the run. And they send a boat away, and then they get on trikeys, and then we get a motorcycle race. And, well, Connery's memory isn't all that good, so they have to go to Berlin, literally the heart of the Nazi, area, to get the diary back. And they're burning all the books because, education is really bad in Germany at that point. And they go to get that while Marcus is captured. Marcus has the map, but the diary has more shit. And at one point, Connery remarks, we are pilgrims in an unholy land. And that's true. Hitler signs the book while Harrison Ford is dressed as a Nazi soldier. And then we have another disguise while on the not Hindenburg, because not the humanity. Harrison, dressed as a guy looking for tickets, throws a Nazi guy out on his on that luggage. Ouch, that looked really goddamn brutal. And said no ticket. Then everybody's getting their tickets out. And then the ship turns around to go back to Germany because they figured, oh shit, the radio's disabled, and oh my god, these two fugitives that we really need stuff from, even though we're evil people, are on the ship. And then they get an escape plane. And then Sean Connery can't figure out how to work a gun, so they crash. Then they steal a vehicle, and they crash that because missiles and tank fire are being launched. And then Sean Connery has the bright idea to have a bunch of seagulls fly in front of this plane in the Great Seagull Crash of 1938. And the Nazis basically get to this land where they say to the leader, hey, look at all this gold, please. We'll take care of your land. And then the leader guy, no, leader wants the cool car there. Now they race to the Grail Cave. And Kazim is here to lead his soldiers to death because they all die really quickly. They all die really quickly. Like, I mean, that's kind of funny, actually. Like, I think almost a troop of Boy Scouts, like in the beginning of the movie, or a troop of Girl Scouts, or possibly just some lobotomized antelopes could have gotten to the Grail and been able to outsmart these guys. I did like how there was some comedy between the characters of Marcus and the father while Indy's on the tank and people are being rolled down, and Indy is doing what he can to, stop this whole thing. Remarkably calm horse during this whole deal, by the way. Whole ordeal of tank fire and whatnot. Indy almost gets taken out on this part of the cliff, but then Connery, who has a gun, that ends up getting sent to him, shoots. Is just shooting, and the guy gets clipped, kind of look like Borat, as it were, and the tank just goes over here, and then goes off a cliff. And oh my God, I didn't have enough time with my boy. Not enough time with my boy. No, Ender. Don't know what the hell that accent is. And he's all disturbed, distraught, all that. And then he's like, what are we all looking at? And then he's alive. I thought I lost you, my boy. And then they get to the cave, the Grail cave, the Grail temple thing, whatever. With all this symbolic stuff that somehow was all built. And here's my question. All this stuff built. What if somebody came looking for you and they didn't know how to find it and they didn't know how to find you? Say you're getting a pizza delivery and the guy just happens to fall through the floor. I mean, I know it's silly. But they decide to motivate Indy by shooting his father. More like shot Connery. Yeah, you all hate me. I know. I had to say it. I had to. So Indy uses a diary and clues to figure out how to get there. How to get through all these traps. Because one guy got his head taken off because there's these spinning blades. Who installed this stuff? Who fucking installed? Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. I don't need to overthink it there. Penitent man kneels before God. So you kneel and the spinning blades won't get you. But then you also have to get around the spinning blade that's on the floor. Kind of a flaw in your system there. And then the word of God. Jehovah begins with an I in Latin. Cool. And then you must take a leap of faith on a path that's invisible. And believe. And then you get there and then Indy throws sand on it to actually be able to see the path. That's smart. That's smart. Any fifth grader would have thought about that, by the way, if they were adventurous. So, the Nazis are following, but by the way, Donovan and Elsa specifically, because they're the only two characters that we really know the names of, they're still alive. And this knight guy is here. This knight that has been alive for over 700 years. He studies, and the thing is, I'll tell you this, he's got the strength to do one shot. And then he doesn't do it and he falls over on the table. I mean, the guy's 700 fucking years old. Almost as old as Zoe Stark. And if you're a non-wrestling fan, you're very confused. And if you are a wrestling fan still watching by this point, you hate me. Because, yeah, I'm working those jokes in here. But, 700 years is a long time to wait. And Donovan and Elsa get there and choose the cup. And the knight's probably thinking, oh, you dick, you led these evil sons of bitches here. They let Elsa choose, and she chooses the gold cup, and then Donovan dies. See? That's why if you let a woman make a choice for you, that's what's going to happen. Oh, that's not misogyny at all. It's actually humor. Because, see, you have Nazi women making choices for you, and there you go. So, he chose poorly. Then Indy chooses the Carpenter's Cup. That is brown on the outside and gold on the inside. Sounds like a really bad shit. And you've chosen wisely. The Grail cannot be taken beyond the Great Seal. And then he saves his dad. And it basically takes the bullet out of him. All that say heals him. And then Elsa takes the cup. Oh, it's ours. And she goes beyond the Great Seal and the thing starts collapsing. Okay? What if somebody was able to get around that thing? And what else was going to happen? Were they going to have a vampire bat go up there and just, wing a few rocks and just gradually clog the thing? Like, I don't know, a bad 16-bit RPG. And nevertheless, Elsa can't quite get the grail and she falls into the fog. No big loss except for her beauty. And then Indy's almost ready to get it because he falls. Indiana, let it go. The knight's still there, by the way, thinking, great, now what the fuck am I going to do? I mean, he's immortal and he's just going to stay there forever anyway. But if you want to go out and see the world? I mean, he might not have been able to get beyond the seal. I'm just saying, if he could have gotten beyond the seal and still survived. Whatever. Anyway, then Sala, Marcus, Indy, and the father have a fun little exchange and then off for a new adventure in about 20 years. And by that point, Connery had retired from acting, which honestly, given the fact that the last big movie he did was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen before doing just a few minor roles, no real big loss there. Check out my retro review of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. There we go. That's the end of that. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.